La radio du Salon de la radio. En direct sur le premier nom de domaine radio. www.european-show.radio.
Il y a également donc european-show.radio. Et alors ça, un point radio, moi je suis scotché, ça existe.
Oui, c'est la première fois qu'un point radio est utilisé en plus.
C'est pour nous.
Ben, voilà, c'est pour le salon exclusivement et avant tout le monde.
Et avant tout le monde,
ouais.
En exclusivité. Mais le secret était bien gardé, parce que ça a été révélé sur la fin.
Ouais, alors il a été bien gardé, c'est vrai qu'il a été révélé assez tard, et on a, grâce à Alain Artero et Graham Dixon ici présents, qui vont nous parler justement de ce point radio. Grâce à eux, et ils nous ont permis de pouvoir bénéficier de ce nom de domaine qu'on a installé sur le site qui était normalement europeanradioshow.com. Ouais. Et qui est devenu european-show.radio.
Au moins, ça a le mérite d'afficher la couleur. Et alors, ce point radio, en fait, donc ça fait combien de temps déjà que c'est en gestation, entre guillemets, et que depuis combien de temps vous avez connaissance de la prochaine arrivée d'un point radio ?
Alors, le point radio, moi j'en ai entendu parler un peu comme tout le monde, par le biais, il y a 1 an et demi, je pense, ouais. À peu près, si je ne me trompe pas, puisqu'il y avait une bataille entre un opérateur qui voulait, qui avait déjà des noms de domaine, et l'UR. Et c'est vrai que l'UR était quand même beaucoup plus légitime, oui. De pouvoir récupérer un point radio qu'un opérateur privé pour pouvoir, et je pense que c'est l'objet de la conférence aujourd'hui, c'est pouvoir expliquer comment est-ce que ça va être attribué, pourquoi est-ce que c'est attribué de telle ou telle manière, ouais. Quel intérêt il va y avoir à avoir un point radio. Alors moi, je pense que concrètement, c'est tout de suite, je pense au référencement, oui. À Google, parce évidemment, que Google est notre ami, oui. Même si, bon, beaucoup l'aiment pas, mais Google est quand même notre ami.
Lui, en tout cas, veut rester notre ami,
voilà.
Ça, c'est sûr.
Et surtout, on a besoin de lui des fois quand on veut se faire référencer. Donc, oui. Le référencement, parce que dans le nom de domaine, on sait bien pertinemment que le référencement est accru. Et donc, avoir un point radio nous met tout de suite dans de très bonnes positions au niveau de Google. Mais c'est pas que pour ça, c'est aussi en termes de communication, je pense. C'est
plus simple, ça affiche encore une fois la couleur, on sait de quoi on parle, et ça permet de se référencer effectivement au sein de la communauté radio. On sait qu'on est entre nous, entre gens de point radio éventuellement. Mais alors, qui sont nos invités là, qui vont nous parler justement de ce point radio ?
Alors, Graham Dixon, qui représente l'UR, l'Union Européenne de Radiodiffusion, EBU en anglais, European Broadcasting Union, et Alain Artero, qui est en charge notamment du point radio à l'UR, et qui a comme objectif de promouvoir ce point radio, d'expliquer quelles en sont les règles et comment est-ce que vous, radio, vous allez pouvoir en demander un. Je pense que tout le monde n'aura pas exactement live.radio, je ne suis pas sûr que ça soit vraiment disponible pour tout le monde. Mais justement, on va en parler, ça va être très intéressant.
On y va ?
La radio du Salon de la radio.
Graham Dixon de l'UR pour nous expliquer et nous présenter le point radio. Merci pour votre présence et en tant qu'exposant et pour cette intervention.
Merci bien Philippe, c'est un grand plaisir d'être ici et je pense qu'en tant que nous sommes le European Radio Show et même Salon de la radio, je vais continuer en anglais. Si ça ne vous dérange pas. I'll say just a few words first about the European Broadcasting Union. So this is the union of broadcasters. We have 73 members in 56 countries, and that is a major representation. Can I just ask whether you can hear me? Because I don't have the impression this is on. You can, good. But of course, the EBU is just one of the unions of broadcasters. And the really important thing about the Dot Radio project is the fact that it's not just the EBU, though the EBU is managing the process, but actually this is about broadcasters from around the world actually working together with us in order to launch Dot Radio. So I'm incredibly proud to represent radio. It's great to be here for the second year. And actually, I'm very proud about our new development in radio history, which is going to be Dot Radio. Now, 3 weeks ago, when I was indicated an article in the Figaro, I was very pleased because the article said that radio had never been more modern, and it was exactly the medium for the modern age. It was flexible, it had accepted the challenge of the internet, and for all those reasons, it was really something that was the cool medium of today. And I really believe that. radio is in fact rising to the challenge in a particular way, and here we are, I think, reinforcing our response to that challenge by creating a community across radio, all sharing the same domain. And I should add this weekend that with so many things happening in the world, every time we switch on our phones, we see new news stories. With so many things happening, the fact of being able to move speedily between different venues, interview people, find out what's happening, hear a variety of views and voices, all that is more important than ever, and indeed proves the power of radio. Now, dot radio has been an extremely long story, and it's a story which recognizes the importance of radio in people's lives. And for this reason, dot radio did not become a commercial domain, but became one of the very rare community domains, because the EBU, as I've just said, with the support of broadcasters from across the world, was given the permission to create this as non-commercial. So we feel very privileged, and it's also our privilege to present it here today. There's a complicated process, though. I wish life were really very simple, and I see a few of our lawyers in the audience, and it's jolly good that we actually have these lawyers who are helping us do this complicated process, because actually launching a domain is not an easy thing. The really important thing is that we are transparent, fair, and legal, and therefore it's very important that you just understand that this is not going to be that we are selling the domains at the end of this session, but actually you should really make sure that you're listening out for further developments, and when it's your moment to jump, when it's your moment to, as it were, jump on the boat and sail into the world of dot radio, then actually you need to take action exactly at the right moment. And all of this, it may be complicated, but it is secure, it's transparent, and it's fair. And I'm extremely pleased that my colleague Alain, as the project director, actually understands, along with our lawyers, all the details of this, because that's extremely good news for me. But I will just do a very quick run at a PowerPoint and then hand to Alain, who is going to say more about the calendar, the agenda, and also some of the details as to how you would actually make applications. But it should be said that the process goes throughout the whole of 2017. But let me have a quick run at this at the PowerPoint. So I think with an audience like this, I don't need to tell you what .com is. We all use internet domains every day, hundreds of them. But the exciting thing is that we now have, if I can press the right thing, a new one, namely .radio, which is going to roll out and create rather like this huge umbrella for the radio world throughout 2017 and indeed beyond. So here, as I've said, we're talking about a community domain. It's a community of interest. People who work in the radio area are absolutely passionate about radio. They are broadcasters. They're broadcasters both public and commercial. They're people who are running internet streams. There are community radios. There are radio amateurs. There are people from all walks of life who are absolutely passionate about this, and of course, listeners as well. But also there are people, and we see them today, producing technology to run radio. This is open to all of them to create this, as I say, this big umbrella for radio. And here we have the statement about why we are doing it, which is what we want to do is to create a space for radio which is of high value and totally clear. So if you're working in radio and you have a .radio domain, everyone will know immediately that you are genuinely working in radio, because we will actually have processes in place to make sure that only people with genuine connections to radio actually get these domains. So already it's high value, it's there, and it comes as a sort of gold standard of being a genuine radio operator. It's managed by the radio community. I'll say a little bit more about that, but we're going to have the first meeting of the World Radio Advisory Board tomorrow, which is the board that will actually work together with the EBU in looking after the principles which underlie the system. And also, of course, it means that there's no cyber squatting, because everyone who has a .radio domain is genuinely working in the radio area. And I said this is a community. Part of that community are all the organizations there, and you will recognize the various logos. Part of being a community is all these organizations which have worked together, which have supported the EBU in actually making the negotiations towards the launch phase and making the negotiations towards its being one of these very rare community domains. I think it's important also to say a few words about the governance and how that is going to work. So I said tomorrow there's going to be the first meeting of the advisory board. The EBU takes responsibility for the actions and for actually in terms of implementation, but we are going to continue to work incredibly closely with all the people whose logos you saw on the previous screen in order actually to make sure that we are genuinely in touch with the whole radio industry and actually managing it for the benefit of everyone. And I think that gives a very solid basis for what we are doing and actually ties us in to broadcasters who are working in very varying circumstances and with varying needs. And I think with that, this is the moment where I hand over to Alain.
Okay, I'm Alain Tarot, responsible for the launch of .radio, so I'm going to leave you more practical details about the launch. So you can see on the screen the timeline, which is still subject to confirmation. We are working with ICANN, which is the organism which manages domain names worldwide. And for the time being, we have the launch dates, which are already confirmed, and I will tell you more about the pre-launch, but this date could be delayed or shift a little bit, but normally today this is the current timeline. So today we are here at the Salon de la Radio à Paris, and we would like to give you more practical information about the pre-launch, the launch, and then the general availability. So the pre-launch will concern mainly the radio station. So it is a period of time where the radio will be able to ask for their domains. And the pre-launch will allow the radio to have a priority over the trademarks. Because ICANN is very sensitive about the trademarks. Normally, the trademarks have the priorities of all of kind of registrants. And in this case, we try to work with ICANN to allow the radio to have priority over trademarks. Let's give me a quick simple example. For instance, imagine that Apple would like to register on also a radio station with the name Apple. With the pre-launch, it will be the radio who will have priority. So the radio will have the domain apple.radio, and the well-known company selling iPhones won't have the domain. Normally, it will be the opposite in the ICANN world. So we are working with ICANN to allow this, this way. So if you have a station, you will be invited to ask for your domain during the pre-launch, starting normally 3rd of May for 60 days. And then during this period, we will try to accommodate, to solve all the requests and make some hard work to ensure that everyone has his own domain. So we will have to maybe contact the party to see when there is some collision with the same request for the same string, and try to solve as much as possible the possible issues. Then there will be the launch for all the other categories, meaning the radio amateurs, the radio industry, the professionals, the web radio, and so on. You have to understand that the dot radio is really reserved to the radio world. It means that if someone comes to buy a domain and is not part of this radio industry or radio as well, he won't be allowed to buy a dot radio domain. So first, the pre-launch, I repeat, will be for the radio stations, and during the launch, it will be all the other category, but still in the domain world, radio world, let's say. The general availability will be in November, and then this part of the timeline means that everyone could apply for radio domain, subject that is really part of the radio world. And we want, it will be first come, first serve at this time. But before, for the pre-launch and the launch, you can, during the 60 days of each period, ask for your domain, and we will manage to solve all the requests, even if you come the last day. So it's not a first come, first day, last come, first, sorry. It won't be a first come, first serve approach. Okay, this is more detail. So as you can see, the first phase is 3rd May ending end of 5th of July. Then there will be some period of time where we will continue to try to solve all the domains, all the potential little issue. And then end of August, there will be the launch for all the other categories. So you can see there will be the trademarks, the union of broadcasters, internet radio, radio amateurs, radio professional, radio-related companies selling goods and services. And then the language is the same with some more flexibility. For instance, it could be programmed for radio or yeah, this kind of more generic request, but still related to radio. So this date normally will be okay, but we are still waiting for the icon validation. So as I said before, it won't be a first come, first serve, and we will seek to optimize the domain name allocation. It's already what I said a little bit before. Okay, so now, how to register your domain when it comes to do it. So if you are a radio station, you will come to the pre-launch. If you are one of the other category, you will come to the launch period. But for the same, it will be the same approach for all of you. You will have to go through a registrar. A registrar is a company selling domains. So you can contact your usual registrar if you have already some domains, or you can find other registrar, maybe cheaper, maybe offering different services. Or you could also contact us because we will be acting also as a reseller. What is interesting to understand is, in fact, at any time, a domain can be transferred to a registrar to another, meaning that if you buy a .radio domain to a very cheap registrar, you can change your mind later on and move this domain to your usual registrar to have all your domains at the same place. If you have any question, don't hesitate to ask me in English or in French. There's no problem. Oui. J'arrive. Okay, so you are right on point. For the price, there will be two schemes of price. There will be a lower price for individuals, for radio amateur, and also for journalists and professionals. For this case, it will be always the same pattern. It will be for radio amateur, what they say, the call sign .radio. For instance, GY5AG.radio, for instance, it's what they call sign. And for the other radio journalists, DG, professional, or whatever, then it will be based on their name. First name, last name, .radio, or first letter, dash, last name, .radio. It will be really linked to the name of the registrant. Okay? And for all other cases, it will be around 200 euros. Okay? So just something I would like to precise is, in fact, the market price is not defined by EBU, mainly. we define a fixed fee that, which is asked for the registrar to pay to us. But then they will add their own markup. So it means that you will find different price depending on the registrar. It's why you maybe have to look different register to find the best option for you. Yes, sorry. Yeah, it is as for the other domain, it's always a yearly fee. Yeah. Okay, so now I would like just to give you some. Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah, I can explain. The price has been defined based on different elements. First of all, you have to consider that the market is very much lower than usually, because this will be a community TLD, restricted to the radio community. It's not millions of people potential who can buy the domains and so on. So this is one point. The other point also is the fact that because it will be a controlled TLD, we will have to do a lot of pre-check or post-check, or maybe also to suspend some domains which are not aligned with the policy, which will be quite clear, let's say. And so for this different reason, it is not like the other domain where it's just you buy and that's it, there is no control, there is nothing. You can have cyber squatting, you can have a lot of things, and no one is just acting against this. So this is not what we plan to do. So this explains largely why the price will be like this. Another point is that, of course, we understand that for some individual, 200 euros will be maybe a little bit expensive. So we consider that it will be a good idea to have two kind of prices, different prices.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So let me switch to the Radio Pioneers program. So Radio Pioneers program, I think you saw it on the timeline. It will begin in the coming days, weeks, and it's intended for some who want to make to be the first on the market. So we will have a very limited number of domains available for this program. It is a limitation from ICANN. And for these people or entities, they will be able to be the first on the market for quite a long period of time. It could be from 4 to 8 months, depending whether they are radio station or if they are from another categories. And what we expect from this program is effectively to make some promotion, to make it known, and so it will be a kind of exchange. So they get the opportunity to be first on the market, but in the other end, we want to get some promotion program from that. So the selection will be based on the variety. So we will expect to have some radio amateurs, some bloggers, some radio station, web radio, and so on. So we will try to cover all the different kind of people. And of course, the promotion and the visibility expected. So if you want to be updated, because as we have said, it is not today that you can buy some domains. It will come in the coming weeks. So we expect to have the start for the radio in May. For the others, it will be a little bit later in August. There is already the site register.radio, which is linked to another site, which is nick.radio, with all this information, and where you can subscribe to mailing list to be updated on the new updates on this website. Because as Graham told you, there's news regularly, and then we will update the website to let you know when it starts and if there's any change. Okay, so my last message is really secure your web presence by requesting your radio domains during the launch phase. It is the best time to do it. Afterwards, during the general availability, it will be most first come, first save. So we expect that you come a lot to this launch. And if you want to follow us with the Twitter account, my email address, and we are ready to answer to any of your questions on our stand in the middle of the show. Thank you.
So just do come and visit our stand. It's easier to answer questions and talk with you over there perhaps than here. And really just watch the timetable, because that sort of privileged, protected access will only be available at the very beginning for a few months. And that's where you really need to make sure that if you are running a radio station, that you get your application in. Thank you.
Live on the world's top .radio domain name, www.european-show.radio.